when the negative occurs directly to the variable inside your function, so in this case with the exponential functions in the power here, you're going to get a horizontal reflection. And the horizontal reflection is going to reflect the graph across the y-axis. Now, just like with the other reflection, the vertical reflection that we saw, when you go through the steps that I've suggested on these, where you plot your 2 points, or find your asymptote, plot your 2 points, the reflections are going to take care of themselves. You just need to kind of understand like what the process represents. Okay, and so here, when you're looking at this, the first thing that we would look to do is establish the horizontal asymptote. Bless you. Okay, so where would the horizontal asymptote be here? Is there any vertical shifting? Yeah, no vertical shifting, so it's just going to be at 0. So that would be the first step. And then when you find your 2 points, the first point you're going to plot is either, again, it's the value of x that gives you a 0 in your power, so that's going to be 0. When x is 0, what's our output going to be? Just 1. So here's our first point. And then we can find our second point by either moving to the right or to the left. Now, what we did, or when we talked about moving to the right and moving to the left, it had to do with positive, with no horizontal reflection being represented in that power. And the easiest way to kind of deal with this is, rather than thinking of it in terms of a negative power, and this is something that's unique to the exponential functions, is to apply that negative power to your base. If I apply this negative power to my base, this becomes a base of 1 over 5 to the power of 1x, right, or just x. And so now it fits the rule that we've established, which is when you pick your second point to plot, are you going to go to right 1 or left 1, depending on whether this base is less than 1 or greater than 1. So by rewriting it in this form, our base is now less than 1. So which direction are we going to move? To the left. So we're going to test negative 1. When x is a negative 1 here, or 1 over 5 to the negative 1 becomes a 5. So negative 1, 5 is your next point. Okay, and you get your graph. Okay, now, if we took this original function right here of just 5 to the x, here is what that original graph would look like in yellow. It's hard to see, but and this negative winds up reflecting it across this y-axis. And so you see that the green line there represents, or the green function represents the graph of the negative, the horizontal reflection. Okay, but once again, if you just follow the rules for testing these, you will get the same result. So in the second example here, our horizontal asymptote, is there any vertical shifting? No. So our horizontal asymptote stays as it is, 0, y equals 0. And then our 2 points, we can plot 0 first. 1/4 to the 0 is 1. And then because our rule, when we choose to the left or to the right, we want it to be a positive power here. So if we apply this negative power, the base of 1/4 becomes a 4 to the x. And so now when we look at our base, it's a number greater than 1. So we move 1 to the right, test 1. 4 to the first is 4, and that gives us our next point. And when you sketch what you're looking at, this would be your graph.